मैम लाइव नहीं मुझे कैमरा कितना ओके मैम
ओके
हाँ మాట్లాడండి లైవ్
స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ రావట్లేదు కదా పోస్ట్ డిజేబుల్డ్
ఇచ్చేసి ఓకే
once again good morning to all of you. Yes, this is our new project actually. So we have started launch today here. For this, I'm very much thankful to Secretary Sir, plus brain child of power. Secretary Sir, brain child of power. And then our then our also vital role as mobile game for launching this project. And coordinator, subject faculty, also must support this our new project. Then only go through towards success. Yes. Just I'm waiting. Yes. My name is krishnaveni. Already I introduced myself. Again, I'm saying zoology faculty in TSRS JC Borabanda boys. Today, actually, first session we want to start with introduction class. So why do we need to study the zoology? That is our topic. Yes, significance of zoology. What is the ultimate goal of science and technology or any development or sir na face ravatledu here see here no okay okay sorry for the disturbance. Yes, significance of zoology. What is the ultimate goal of science and technology or any development or any branch of learning? All of you know that what is the ultimate goal? Any development, even if you reach any high peaks, the goal is that welfare of the human being, isn't it? So welfare of the human being. It is time to change, alter this goal. That is, any technology or any development should lead to sustainable development and then ecological balance. Yes, because who are the brainy animals on earth, because human being is a part of the animal kingdom, but we have so much of a developed brain. That's why we want to suppress all other animals. So that's why we have to change our goal. To change our goal, we need to study the zoology. Zoology is a branch of science. Zoo means in Latin animal, ology means a subject of study. Zoology means study of animals. Yes, Why do we need to study zoology? Studying the zoology, we have number of benefits in our daily life because we are learning ourselves, not the others. We are learning, we are knowing ourselves. So see here, food. We need every day. Each and every person need food. Eggs, milk, meat. We consume these three items considerable quantity on a daily basis. Zoology helps us to increase more production because we are able to know the what is the behavior of the animal and what is the structure and function of the animal. We are able to know through the zoology only, so that we can control them and we can lead them, we can manage that cattle. Yes, regarding food, if you talk about the food, we can talk so much of it. Next, agriculture use. Yes, our country is agriculture based country. Identification of several insects which are harmful to the crop. Yes, so many farmers are suffering with the pest. Pest is due to the harmful insects. All of us know that the insects are two types: harmful insects and the useful insects. Harmful insects are very dangerous to our crop yielding. So our farmers are suffering from harmful insects. So if you study, yes, share leda. Huh? No, ela? Wait. Some technical problem is going on. Just I will come back.
Share your video.
No, not like this. Yes. No.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, agriculture. So if you study the life cycles of the insects, so we can control. We came to know that at which stage we are able to control the insects. Regarding harmful insects, if it is useful insect, also if you know about the life cycle of the useful insects, so you are able to know that which stage we can control it or we can expose to the crop. These are the uses in agricultural field. Next, we go to medical field. Yes, it is enormous field and very important field and vital field for our human beings. Yes, today we have a lot of surgical information due to dissecting of animals. Already all of us know that we have so much of surgical information. Today number of surgeries are going on. Why? Because dissecting of the animals. We can't dissect the human being, but we can dissect the animal. By dissecting the animals, we are able to know the structure of the organ and organ systems and function of the organ and organ systems, and then disorders of the organs and organ systems and disorders of the structural disorders and functional disorders also. But we cannot dissect the human being. So definitely we have to read about the animals. And then some diseases like swine flu, bird flu, etc. are passed on to human through animals. All of you know that through the animals, we are getting number of diseases. But if you prevent or control those animals, the animals which are carrying the pathogens, we are able to control. When we are able to control them, if you know about it perfectly, if you know about its behavior and its life cycle, then which stage is the perfect to control, that we can do that. When can we do that? If you know perfectly about that particular animal. So if you read the zoology, you can do that. And then new drugs will be tested on animals before using them on human beings. Nowadays, we are researching is going on enormously, boundless. So new drugs are coming day by day. Those new drugs directly we cannot trial on human beings. We conduct the trial on animals. So if the result is good, we use on human beings. Otherwise, we can't use directly on human beings. See, even to conduct the trials, also we have to know about those particular animals. And then prevention of disease by identifying the disease causing vectors. So all of you know, in lower sections you might have learn about it. For example, malaria. What is the vector? Anopheles. Anopheles mosquito, the female mosquito is the vector. If you control the female mosquitoes, so it leads to controlling of the malaria disease. In the same manner, filariasis. If you control the Culex malaria, we can control the filariasis. When can we control? If you know about that particular disease causing vector. Those are called the vectors. So actually Plasmodium and Wuchereria banctopteri is are the pathogens, but vectors are Culex and Anopheles. So if you read about those animals or insects, then only we are able to control them. If you move on to other field, that is industrial use. Yes, it is a big industry. We know that. Honey, wax, pearls, etc. An important products in our life. Honey is nowadays, it has become a medicine for us. So honey is in olden days, just naturally we collect the honey, but nowadays it is produced by the machinery and industry. So how can we collect that on honey? How can we maintain and manage that in the honey industry? Honey industry means apiculture. We can call it as apiculture. So apiculture is nowadays it is a big industry. How can we do that? If you know about the honeybees, if you know about the life cycle of the honeybees, then only you can collect the honey. In the same manner, wax and pearls also. Yes. Next, extraction of wool and silk. Yes. Wool, naturally we collect from the sheep, but nowadays it has become the industry and mechanically they are able to collect. And then silk, the production of silk is called as sericulture. Yes, sericulture is also small scale industry. How can we produce the silk in major quantities? If you know about the silkworm, if you know the life cycle of the silkworm, then you are able to manage it, maintain it. That is the need of the zoology. And next field, understanding the protection of animals. Yes, we must need that. Being the brainy animal on earth, we need it because we are dominating all the animals. If you read once zoology, definitely you will get the humane quality. Really, our zoology textbook has the human face, not human face, human face. Human means humanity. If you read once zoology entirely, definitely you will change your behavior. See, understanding the protection of animals, understand the coexisting harmony between animals and the ecological balance. If one of the species is eliminated, whole food chain will be disturbed. All of you know about the food chains because food chains topic is coming from the lower sections. I have given one example here. Plants, grasshopper. Plants are eaten by grasshopper. Grasshoppers are eaten by the frogs. Frogs are eaten by the snakes. Snakes are eaten by the peacocks. This is the food chain in one ecosystem. If you remove the snakes, because we are so much of afraid of snakes, if even if it is poisonous or not, simply we kill it. If you eliminate those snakes, trophic level, if you eliminate it, what will happen? So what will the frog number of frogs increased. If number of frogs increased, what will happen? Grasshoppers may. What will happen? Grasshopper, number of grasshopper may reduced, isn't it? If you remove the frogs, what will happen? Number of grasshoppers increased. If number of grasshopper increased, what will happen? The grasshopper attack the crop fields. Isn't it? If you remove the snakes, peacocks also suffer with hungry. See, the entire food chain is affected. Entire the food chain in nature disturbed. Have you identified? Have you recognized it? Simply you have, that is a small issue for us. Just to kill the snakes. If you kill the snakes unnecessarily, so entire the nature is disturbing. Yes, see, you must have that kind of knowledge. Then only we are able to maintain ecological balance. You remember that human being is a one part of the nature. He is not the whole and soul. Yes. Now we are moving to another field, that is recognition of our responsibility. Yes, we must feel responsibility. Being a human being, moreover, we are the sensible animals. We must feel responsibility, maintain the sustainability. Since we are the dominating species on Earth, we don't have the right to destroy the planet. Yes, remember it. As a generation, we borrowed it. This nature is not our own, just we borrowed it, and we have to hand over it in good condition to our future generation. If you don't have anything, if you borrow from some other people, you have to hand over it in a good condition, isn't it? It may be pen or cell phone or laptop, whatever it may be, isn't it? We follow this rule. We must follow this rule at nature also. So we have to hand over it in good condition to our future generations. You remember, we are not doing such a kind of actions. That's why we are facing so much of problems. Even this pandemic, COVID, hard time, also because of that, we don't have the responsibility about the nature, isn't it? Yes, and our floods also. Floods also, because of we are forgetting this. We are forgetting this phenomena. Our responsibility. Genetic modifications. Yes, genetic modifications is genetics is very important topic regarding intermediate IP examinations and regarding MSET examinations and regarding NEET also, any competitive examinations. Genetic topic is more important. Yes, genetic disorders pass on from one generation to other generations. Not only disorders, any genetic characters pass on from one generation to other generations. Grandfather to father, father to son, son to, like that. It pass on generation to generation. So genes are passing on. This is called inheritance. So, and then we are able to find out the specific defective gene also nowadays. If you find out that defective gene, we can eliminate from the gene pool, so that permanently we can eliminate that disorder. So we are able to stop at one generation, isn't it? When we do that, if you have the so much of knowledge about the genetics, in our society, the prevailing condition is that marriages between close relatives. Yes, it is. We follow it is a tradition, but it has so much of damage also. It has so much of dangerous also. Because why? Defective genes, two defective genes, if two defective genes are comes from the same gene pool, that will be dominated. So such kind of all those issues we are able to learn through the genetics, through the zoology only. Next, DNA fingerprinting, identifying the criminals. Yes, all of you know that fingerprinting. Our prints are unique to each and every person. They never coincide. They are unique. That's why able to find out the and recognize how much, isn't it? Next, genetically modified organisms, sheep or and a number of animals we are nowadays we are using, but there is a controversial because they are the good for the health or not. So to know all those things, we must read the zoology. Next, if you move on to other field, remove myth. Yes, our society is the traditional society. Of course, it is traditional. We can accept it. But in our society, superstitions are prevailing. Myths are prevailing. So because of those myths, number of people may lose their lives also. Do we agree with that? No, yes. How can we remove such a kind of myth through the zoology? See here, many of us feel all snake bites are fatal. Yes, if any snake touch you, your thought processing is, yes, I am going to die. No, every snake is not the poisonous. Some species only poisonous species. Most of the species of the snakes are not poisonous. We can able to know that through the zoology only. Yes, but number of people, because of that shock, because of that feeling, they are losing their lives. Yes. Next, notion is all lizards are poisonous. Yes. If you see the lizard, or if lizard accidentally drop in the food material, if unknowingly if you eat it, after that you came to know that the lizard has dropped in position unknowingly. At that till that time we are very happy, but if you, when you came to know that issue, you will get the vomitings and motions and whatnot because of that fear. So we can eliminate that fear, we can away from that fear when you read thoroughly this zoology or about the lizards, isn't it? Next, we think that formation of us is due to intake of pulses or dal. Yes, number of students feel like that because ours is residential mode of institutions. Number of students, if they get the any small wound, they avoid the taking of the pulses. Because if you take the dal, you get the pus. All of us know that pus is forming due to the action of the microorganisms, not for the pulses. Pulses are the rich in protein. Proteins are the building blocks of the our body. If you eat more pulses, the wound will heat rapidly. So when we came to know that all those things, if you go through the zoology, then only we came to know that, isn't it? Next, knowledge of evolution process. Yes, what a subject is it? Evolution. Evolution is evergreen subject. We can't stop because evolution is gradual change and continuous change. The change is forever. Never stop it. isn't it? It is the great phenomena in our zoology. Yes, every living organism, yes, human being or whatever it may be, any life is starts with a cell. Cell is the just protoplasm covered by one membrane that is called cell. So the life is starts with cell. The cell group of cells form the tissues, group of tissues form the organs, group of organs form the organ systems, group of organ systems form one organism. So number of organisms form the population. Number of populations construct the community. Number of communities together construct the ecosystem. Number of ecosystems construct the entire biosphere. Biosphere is nothing but entire universe. See the evolution process. So any organism, its life starts with a single cell. So gradually it has changed like that, isn't it? Next, see how much great phenomena it is. And of course, evolution this is organic evolution. Evolution is take place in another fields also, in civilization or transport to cycle to bike and car and aeroplane and rocket and satellite like that. Isn't it? So in every field, evolution takes place, isn't it? Next, formation of different species from one species. Yes, it is a big question for our students. Generally, they ask this question. Yes. Just now, I told you, all organisms are evolved from the single cell. Each and every organism starts its life with a cell. Then only gradual change taken place, then only form the complete organism. In the same manner, single species diverted into the number of species. Such a kind of phenomena we can learn through the evolution process. So, can you say no to learn the zoology? No, we never say that, isn't it? Because we have number of phenomena and number of uses in our daily life. How can we say that no to study of zoology? It is our duty to study the zoology. Thank you. Now, I want to hand over this screen to the Rajkumar sir.
Yes, madam.
Yes.
And do we have time, madam, to continue the class? If we have time, then I shall continue. It will be after. It will be for 50 minutes.
Yes, yes. We have
if we
the
have,
time.
How much time we have,
Yes,
madam?
yes. 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. Okay. Some of the syllabus we can complete. Half of the unit we may complete. Shall I continue, madam?
Yes, you can continue. I will do this.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Make me host, madam, so that I can share. Yes, madam, can you see me? Can you see the screen of me, please? Hello? Madam, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me, madam?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay.
You can hear me. Continue.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank our secretary, sir, and krishnaveni, madam, for providing this opportunity. And on behalf of students also, I would like to thank our society for providing these online webinar classes for intermediate students. Okay, dear students, for the second year students, I'm saying, so on continuation of this webinar class, today we are going to start the first chapter from your syllabus, that is breathing and exchange of gases. Okay, in this lesson, we are going to learn about respiratory system and about the respiratory process which take place. Okay, before going to learn about, let us learn some basics of this chapter. So basics is nothing but whatever the food we take, it goes through the mouth. We all know about it. In the previous chapter, we have learned that food goes into the small intestine, stomach and small intestine, and gets digested. And after the digestion, the food will be absorbed in the small intestine. So in the small intestine, after the absorption, this food gets into the circulatory system. With the help of the blood, our food goes through and reaches to the cellular level. There comes the process called cellular respiration. It is nothing but the breakdown of the food components to release of the energy. So basically, the definition of respiration is it is an energy releasing process. In this process, food molecules are oxidated for the release of energy. With the help of that energy, we are able to do all our daily activities, isn't it? Let's learn further. Let's learn further about respiration. Respiration has two types, basically the external respiration and the internal respiration. The external respiration, also called as ventilation and normal breathing pattern. In this external respiration, the exchange of gases take place. Okay, the gases which exchange, we all know, aware of it. Oxygen is taken and the carbon dioxide is released from the body. So this physical exchange of the oxygen and carbon dioxide is called as external respiration, which takes place in the lungs. And the second is the internal respiration, where actual biochemical process take place. In this process, the food is broken down to release of energy for life. Okay. Next, learn about the another type, which is the cellular respiration. And respiration, in the respirator, we will be learning about two things, that is the respiratory and respiratory process. Here I have mentioned in the slide, you can see in the respiratory system, we will be learning about the different organs which are involved in the system. And in the respiratory process, we learn about the actual process, actual things that happen in them. So respiration can also be defined, it can also be categorized into two types, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. We must be aware of these two terms called aerobic and anaerobic. The name itself says that aerobic means the respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic means the respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen. Here you can see on the screen, on my screen you can see the picture. So the glucose, which is a food component, reaches to the cellular level. Inside the cell, the glucose is oxidated with the help of oxygen. So in the oxidation process, carbon dioxide, water, and the energy is released, isn't it? So this is called aerobic respiration, in which 38 ATPs are released for each 1 mole of glucose. And in anaerobic respiration, which take place in the absence of oxygen, what lactic acid is formed. Okay, so this lactic acid is responsible for the muscle cramps. This one you have learned in the 10th class, isn't it? Let us learn further. Let's learn further about it and the exchange of gases and how different animals exchange the gases in their body. So in the human beings, we have lungs for the exchange of gases, for the breathing process. But in all the other animals, there are different organs. So let us know what are the organs involved in the respiration process in different animals. First process is simple diffusion. In simple diffusion take place with the help of surface of the body. So oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange directly from the surface of the body in some organisms like protozoans, sponges, cnidarians, and flatworms. Next is cutaneous respiration, which take place with the help of skin. So the skin respiration takes place by the earthworm and amphibians. In the anatomy of earthworm, we will be learning deep about how the skin is formed, why the respiration take place with the help of skin. So their skin is moist and helps for the exchange of gases. Next is branchial respiration, which takes place with the help of gills. In the animals which lives in the water, they are called aquatic animals. In aquatic animals, we can see this kind of respiration. In them, the organs which helps in the exchange of gases is gills. Examples: fishes, larvae of amphibians, arthropods, and molluscans. Right. Next type is tracheal respiration. Trachea is nothing but a tubular structure which is present, okay, in the insects mainly. So in these animals, the air tubular network is present all over the body, and the exchange of gases takes place with the help of trachea. So these air-like tubules carry the oxygen to each and every cell directly. So this is called tracheal respiration. Takes place mostly in the insects and cockroaches. Next, book lungs. These book lungs, they appear like a lungs. That's why they are called. They appear like a book. Hence, they are called as book lungs. They are present in the spiders and scorpions. Beside, you can see the pictures also. And the next, book gills. So gills which appear like a book. These are the special respiratory organs present in the king crab. Its scientific name is limulus. Okay, this is very important for your NEET as well. Next, pulmonary respiration. Finally, it takes place by the lungs, and the lungs are present in reptiles, aves, and mammals. Reptiles means, you know, tortoise, snakes, and crocodiles are called comes under the reptiles. Aves means nothing but all the birds, and mammals means all the rat, cat, dog, tiger, all the domestic and forest animals, all, and human beings and monkeys, all comes under the group called mammals. Okay, let's learn about further things. So let us first see about the respiratory system. It is one of the organ systems present in the body, and organ system is nothing but the group of organs combined together and carrying out particular function. Here the respiratory system means nothing but the organs which helps in the process of respiration. Okay, let's see what are the organs involved. That means about parts, internal parts. First is external nostrils. So these are the external openings which we can see. And next, nasal chambers. I will locate you now. And the next, nasopharynx, which is just above the nasal chambers. Next, larynx, which is present near the neck region. Next, trachea, which is present below the neck. And then bronchi and bronchioles, which makes up the tubular structure. And finally, the lungs. This is the respiratory system. Now let us locate where they are existing. So external nostrils are nothing but the external holes that you can see. So with the help of these external nostrils, the air rushes inside. Next is nasal chambers. Just above the external nostrils, there is a nasal chamber. Next, nasopharynx, which is present behind the nasal chambers. This is called nasopharynx. On screen you can see I am locating them. And the next is larynx. Larynx is also called as a voice box, present near the neck region. Okay. Next is trachea, which is a tubular structure. Okay. which is present here. You can see the ring-like cartilages are surrounded it for giving support. Next, bronchi and bronchioles. This is the bronchi, and the tubular structures, the tiny tubular structures are called as bronchioles. Finally, the main organs of the respiration are nothing but the lungs. So we have pair of lungs, and lungs have their own internal structure. I will show you in the next slide. Dear students, let's learn further. Okay. First of all, let's learn about the nasal chamber and the larynx. Nasal chambers are separated by nasal septum. You can see between two nostrils there is a septum which is there. Okay, that is called as nasal septum. There are three parts in the nasal chamber, and they are vestibular part, respiratory part, and olfactory part. Vestibular part has hair and sebaceous glands to prevent the dust. They are present just behind the external nostrils, and there is hair and the sebaceous glands. They trap the dust particles not to enter to the lungs, because if such kind of dust particles enter the body, then we may get asthma and some other problems. Next is respiratory part, which actually converts the temperature of the air into the body temperature. Externally, there is a different temperature than the internal. Our body has 37 degrees of temperature, but in the external environment, the temperature will vary. Season wise, it varies. So whatever the air gets entered in our body, it should be converted into the temperature of our body. So that is done by respiratory part. So what it does, it conditions the air and supported by tribunals and conchae, nasal conchae. The next part is olfactory part. This part has olfactory epithelium. Okay, it's a epithelial cellular layer, and it is most important for detecting the smell. So olfactory part helps in the smelling process. So nose is not only useful for smelling, it is also useful to prevent the dust and to condition the air, to change the temperature of the air. Hope you have understood. Now we will go to the next slide. Okay, we will go to the next slide now. So here in the picture, you can see different parts of the nasal septum. Let's learn about the larynx now. It's a cartilaginous voice box made by 9 types of cartilages. Like their cartilage means it's a soft bone, and the 9 kind of cartilages are thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, epiglottis, which is unpaired, 2 carniculate cartilages, arytenoid cartilage, and cuneiform cartilage. So cuneiform cartilage and carniculate cartilages are paired, and epiglottis is unpaired. Thyroid and cricoid cartilage is also paired. Okay, remember these tiny things because they are important for your NEET examination. Epiglottis, let's know about it. It is an elastic cartilaginous flap-like structure present just between the structures of foot pipe and windpipe. So epiglottis, what it does not allow to whatever the water we drink, whatever food we take, it should go to the food pipe. So it will not allow the food and water to enter the windpipe. If it enters the windpipe, the food and water enters the lungs and it will become a problem. So that's why epiglottis helps to prevent the food and water to enter windpipe, and it will allow the food and water enter food pipe. So it is most important structure. So it is made by elastic cartilage. Okay. Next, vocal cords. Vocal cords are the structures which are allowing us to speak. Okay. So here in the picture, you can see the vocal cords and the cartilage, isn't it? They are yellow elastic fibers connecting the thyroid and arytenoid cartilages. Just now I have told you that larynx is made up of 9 types of cartilages. So vocal cords are they connect the thyroid and arytenoid cartilages. They are flap-like structures. Whenever the air passes from the lungs to the outside, these cartilaginous vocal cords will vibrate. This vibrating makes the sound, and that is what we are able to speak. So vocal cords are important for speaking. Okay. Next, rima glottidis. So it is repeated in the last year NEET. It is the opening between the two vocal cords where the air passes. Okay, rima glottidis. Next, Adam's apple. So the protruded structure you can see at the neck region in the male, mostly in the male in the adolescent region, adolescent time, it is called as Adam's apple. You can see here on the picture the Adam's apple, which is a protruded structure. It is absent in the male, and it is also called as secondary sexual character in the male. So laryngeal predominance. So this is which you are able to see the structure called laryngeal predominance. So in the male, the vocal cords are thick and long. So that's why they can produce the low pitch sound. Okay. So males produce low pitch sound because their vocal cords are thick and long. In the female, the vocal cords are thin and short. That's why they produce high pitched sounds. Okay. So they produce high pitched sounds. You can see that drawings there about the epiglottis, vocal and cartilages and trachea. So these are the vocal cords between the two cartilages, and whenever air passes through, so these vocal cords get vibrated. That's what produces the sound. Let's learn further about next slide. Let's learn about the next structure called trachea, bronchi and bronchioles. What is trachea? Trachea is a windpipe supported by C-shaped cartilage. Okay, so it is a C-shaped cartilaginous structure. It is also called as a windpipe because the air passes through it. Okay, so these hyaline cartilage, ring-shaped cartilages are existing here because it should not be folded. So to protect it from the folding, the trachea is provided with C-shaped hyaline cartilage. Okay. Next, it is dorsally incomplete. Okay, and it is lined by pseudo-stratified ciliated epithelium. Okay, pseudo-stratified means nothing but there will be a cellular layer, multiple cellular layers, but the cell sizes are not same. The different cell sizes will be there. That's called pseudo-stratified. Ciliated, that means they have cilia in structure. Sir, cheppandi in person. Okay. So pseudo-stratified epithelial tissue. Next, let us see further. Technical problem. Okay. Bronchi. Let us learn about the bronchi. Bronchi. It is again divided into bronchioles, the primary bronchioles, secondary bronchioles, tertiary bronchioles, and terminally bronchioles. Finally, the respiratory bronchioles. Suppose they look like a tree, isn't it? So whenever we take a tree upside down, it looks like a bronchi and bronchiole structure. That's called a pulmonary tree, isn't it? You can see here, suppose if this is a bronchi gets subdivided into different branches, and all these tiny branches finally reaches to the alveolar structure. So the first branch is called as primary bronchiole, and the further dividings are called as secondary, tertiary, and terminal bronchioles. Finally, the respiratory bronchioles, which are very tiny tubular structures, reaches to the alveolar ducts. So these alveolar ducts reaches to the alveolar sac. I will show you the picture of alveolar structures. Let's see further. It's called respiratory tree. Okay, it's also called as pulmonary tree because it looks like a upside down tree. Next, let's learn about the lungs. They are located in thoracic chamber. Thoracic region means, you know, below the neck region is called as a thoracic region. So lungs are located at that region and they are covered by double layered membrane called as pleura. So pleura is a membrane which covers, and since it is double membraned, between two layer there will be the fluid which is called pleural fluid. It is helpful for reducing the friction. Next, there is a conducting part and there is a respiratory part. So in the lungs there are two parts, conducting part and respiratory part. Conducting part means nothing but it conducts the air. That means it helps in the passage of the air. You can see here from nostrils to the bronchioles. Whatever the tubular structure is there from nostrils to the bronchioles is called as conducting part. Okay, it helps in the passage of the air. The next is the respiratory part, in which the network of alveolar ducts and alveolar sacs are present. Respiratory part is an actual part where the exchange of gases take place. Okay, so lungs basically have two parts, conducting part and respiratory part. In conducting part, the tubular structure starts from the nostrils to the bronchioles and it helps in the passage of air. And in the respiratory part, it is made up of network of alveolar ducts and sacs, and it helps in the exchange of gases. So these lungs are protected by ribs and sternum, vertebral column and diaphragm. Ribs are covered, ribs completely covers the lungs, and sternum is a middle, it located in the middle region, and vertebral column protects from the back side. It is also called as a backbone, and diaphragm, which is present just below the lungs. So this is the structure of the lungs. Let's learn further.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, any suggestions? Shall I continue? Do we have time, madam?
No.
Mechanism of respiration.
No,
Shall I continue this, madam? Please.
No.
Okay, madam. Cheppandi, madam.
Yes, time is running out.
Okay, madam. So we till respiratory system we have completed, madam. Okay, we shall continue the next class in the next webinar. Thank you, dear students. This is Rajkumar signing out. Thank you.
Okay. Now we are. Yes, thank you, Rajkumar sir.
Madam, okay. Please continue the session. Thank you.
Now we are going to conclude the morning. Hello. Yes, thank you, Rajkumar sir.